Hey, this is Chris from Outbound Terrain. Welcome to the channel. In this episode, we're going to change the brake pads and rotors on my 2000 Jeep Wrangler JK. So let's get started. All right, let's get started. Anyways, what we're going to do today, those rotors right there are from 2007. Those things are pretty old, and they've got a lip and a groove here. We're going to change those. And while we're in here, you can see those brake pads are pretty low. Those tolerances, we're going to change out those brake pads. So we're going to do the whole Casaba all in one day. It's going to be amazing. Okay, let's get set up here. What I like to do first, and it's hard to hold the camera and pan and do this, but anyways, camera lady's off today. Damn it. All right, so I just like to clean them up. You know, get all the funk off of them. And don't use compressed air, man. You don't want to be blowing this, gosh, is it asbestos? It's some kind of really bad particle film you don't want in your frickin' lungs, man. Trust me. It's bad for business. Let's see here. Let's get back in here. I'm going to clean them up real good. You know, make them happy. Okay, the first thing we're going to want to do is get this caliper off. Here's the caliper right here. The brake pads sit inside here. Here's your rotor. You can see it. A little rusty thing we're going to get rid of. Here's the pads. They're pretty low. We want to change those. We got to take this caliper off though. So what we're going to do, we got a bolt here and a bolt here. So we're going to pull those out, and I'll show you how to do that. We'll get the caliper off, and then we'll move right along. Pretty easy. This is kind of the down and dirty way to do it. So it'll be easy for you. Let's do it. All right, I hope the lighting's good. You can see that. This is a 15 millimeter. This is a bolt here and one here. This is the 13, that's the 15th. You have to hold this one if you can. We're gonna turn this guy. Now, be pretty easy to get off there. Hopefully you can see that. See how that moves up and down? That's just, they're kind of mated together on this side. And that's your, gives a little cushion there, and that gives you play when your caliper moves in and out. That's why that kind of compresses in there. So we got that one out. It's one 13 millimeter bolt. Same thing on top. You can see bottom's off. Same thing on top. There. And I hope you can see this, kids. It's kind of hard. My camera gimbal's kind of cranked all the way up, but gosh dang it. There we go. Same thing. Get it off. Well, that one was on there. And sometimes it's hard to maneuver stuff in there. Oh, with this brake line right here, but that's okay. So once you get them started, they're pretty easy to get off. All right, I hope you can see this from here. I might change angles before we pull this off. Okay, so bolts are out. It's free. Don't let it fall off of there. Let's get the calipers off. So we took the bolts out in the back. It's just free, comes off straight out like that. Now the pads are going to stay in there. See the pads? They're kind of hanging there. And what we want to do, we got this out. We won't let, geez, sorry, rented lips. I should slow down a little bit. Anyways, we don't want it hanging like that. It's hard on the connections. It's hard on the whole setup here, the lines. Anyways, so I got a bungee cord right up in here. Come here. What we'll do is, it's hard to do with one hand. Jeez. We're gonna bungee this guy up so it doesn't flop under its own weight, okay? So I just do this in the holes, you know, and there, see? You know, it doesn't hang down and it doesn't hang low and break the lines here because there's pressure on the lines. We don't want that. So hang that mama up. So now we got our caliper off. This is what I like to do next in sequence. You can do it any way you want, but see this, here's the piston. Now this is supposed to be retracted all the way in here flush with this fitting right here. Because over time, when you step on your brakes, what happens is this moves slower out and slower out because the, you know, the brake pads wear out. So it's compensating for the pad's wearing. So by the time you're ready to do your brakes, it's sticking way out into the next area code. Anyway, so let's let it hang there for a minute. I want to show you a little trick. It's kind of cool. Now I'm under the hood here. Here's your brake fluid reservoir right here. Okay, so when a lot of people don't do this, I've been watching these videos, some of these brake change videos for the JK, and a lot of these folks are just compressing that piston. Now, piston I showed you in the caliper, we're going to have to bring that all the way flat. When you're doing that, though, I'll show you how to do that. You're putting pressure in the lines, and it's going all the way up to this reservoir. So what you want to do is pop that cap off, okay? So the back pressure could come up, but the other thing is when you do that, a lot of times this will overflow because, you know, over the years, you know, it's compensated for, you know, the brake pad going down, the caliper going out. So it's, you know, taking a little pressure out of here and a little volume over time. I know that doesn't make much sense, but you'll see someday. You'll figure it out anyways. It'll all come together for you. So what most people do is they put rags around here because this overflows pretty much. But here's another idea. See, we got a 60cc syringe, right? And you can get these syringes on any street corner where there's drug abusers and heroin addicts. You know, they're readily available. Just go ask one of them. Okay, so I just stick it in there. And what I want to do is pull some volume out of here. See that? So I'm pulling, and I'll put it back in there. Actually, I should put clean fluid back in there. So now the reservoir is low. So when I push that caliper in with the clamp I'm going to use, it won't overflow. So you don't need these rags, damn it. Anyways, so that's a little trick for you. Okay, now we're going to compress this piston right here. So it needs to be, like I said, all the way back here. So what we're going to use is a C-clamp, okay? This is the easiest way. They make tools to do this. They're a lot easier. Well, what you can do is grab one of the brake pads off of here. You can stick it like that. See what I mean? What you want to do, we want to compress that. So we're going to put a little pressure on it. And once again, it's hard to do with one hand, like everything else. Hold on. Let's see if we can get that on there. All right. So what we're going to do, I hope you guys can see this. It's kind of a hokey kind of view, hacky sack, whatever you want to call it. All right. Once again. All right. So we're getting there. Kind of tightening up our clamp. And the light's probably not the best, guys. We'll do the best I can here. Hope you can see a little better. All right, there we go. So, we're working on that, okay? So we got our clamp on there, and we're gonna go ahead and compress. And you can see the piston going in. It's going in slow, but it's going in, see? Pushing it slowly. And, whoopsie! I almost fell off the stool there. Not very graceful. There. Don't try this at home, kids. You might hurt yourself. Okay. Sorry. All right. A little torque on this. See how it's going down? Getting smaller and smaller. Damn, this is a good brake video. You guys will have to tell your friends about this. It's going to be amazing. All right. Almost there. Almost flat. That's it. Flush. See? Good. I know I get excited about this shit, but all right. So there you go. Flush. And we're ready for action. Okay, next, to be able to pull our rotor off here, we're going to have to take this bracket off. So let's do that. You can see there's one of the brake pads stuck in here. Just pull that out. And that's where they sit, right in here, and we'll go over that. There's little clips here. And so let's get this off of here. I forgot what size this is. This is a, it's like a 21 millimeter socket. And, you know, I'll be honest with you, you're going to need some torque on this, kids. You're going to need some torque. And usually a breaker bar works really good. And that's just an extension of the ratchet where you can stick it on there. You know, get a little more torque this way. Lighting isn't really good. Maybe see if I can pull this off. So we're going to pull up. All right. Holy. All right. Well, that moment was on there. Like I said, that was all just beef. All right. They screw out pretty good. Maybe you got one more. There. Okay. Get that one out, and same thing. I said breaker bar would be nice. Just trying to get this little ABS line out of the way. We don't want to screw that up. Okay. All right, same thing. Torque makes the world go around. Leverage. All right. Don't you love that, man? Here. Let's change our camera angle. All right. So that's the bracket. And I'm going to change the camera angle so you can see this a little better. Hold on a second. Yeah, this is a little better shot here. So here's the side view. Here's our rotor. Let's get this other bolt all the way out. There's bracket. It just has to come off to be able to see. You can't get it off, the rotor off without it. So there's a nice side view here. Okay, bolts out. So there, bracket's off, right? Bracket's off. And we can pull our rotor off. That was it. Now let's get the new one on. We'll get the bracket on, and we'll change the pads out. Pretty easy, guys. Okay, got our new rotor here. Let's put it on. Now we got that bracket off, we can fit our new rotor on there like that. So new rotor's on. What I like to do is take one of the lug nuts and just tighten it up. It kind of keeps that mama on there. That's our base for what we're going to do, right? There, nice and snug. Now, we've got that on there. And, you know, we could put one on the bottom, just keep everything kind of where it needs to be. So we don't get any play this way. Right? Okay. Done. All right. Okay, now we got the rotor on. This is where your brake pads are going to fit, right in here. I don't know if you can see that. See those little clips in there? Yeah, help if I held it up, huh? They're going to slide right in here. So what we need to do, and I like to do this, see the old clips in there? The kid gives you new clips. So these have been in here for frickin', I don't know, 15 years. Get rid of them, pop them out. What I do is look at the orientation. See how that is? The way it's sitting in there. Just pop them out. And get one that orients the same way. You know, like this one. No, it's not that one. Or that one. It's this one. They're a little different, so because the little pointy thing kind of goes out a different way. But these are kind of just tedious. You just stick them in there. I'm going to stop the video because, you know, it's kind of It takes a while to get these in there. You just pop them in like that, and do all the sides. So you just pop in there like that. So go ahead and do that. And there's one here, one here, one here, and just pull the old ones out and pop the new ones in. So for time's sake, I'm just gonna stop it right here. We'll move on. Okay, hopefully you got all your new clips in there. Okay, new clips. What I like to do is get some brake grease, caliper grease, and you want to put a dab of it. And anywhere there's going to be metal on metal, like the ears of those brake pads are going to be right there. So you want to lube those up a little bit. Just give it a little lube, kids. You know. All right. Do this side. And good. They're lubed up now. Now that we got those lubed up, clips are in, what we can do is start putting this thing back together again. Let me get on my knees, where I am at home most of the time. Don't tell anybody that. Okay. What we want to do is we're going to put our bolts back in. And we're going to use something called anti-seize, or I like to call it anti-sleaze. Yep, sleazes are out there. It keeps them away from you, kids. Be sure to use it. Oh my God, it's one big blob. Geez, that'll do the whole neighborhood. Anyways, sorry, this isn't a. I gotta shut up. Yeah, let's put some on there. Not a whole bunch. I don't know if I should release this video or not. Okay, now we got our rotor back on. Let's put this arm back on. All right, so here's the orientation. It goes this way. Let's try that again. All right, it goes this way. Right on those little ears there, right on the inside. Hope you can see that. Probably not real well. Okay, there we go. So in there. Bolts back in, right? Back in where they went. Probably not the best camera angle, I guess. But. All right, so those are going in. Just hand tighten them until we get them where they need to go there. All right. Get them back on there. And I'm going to torque these down for now. Just pretty tight. I don't have my torque wrench with me here. And I'm not really remember what torque specs were on these. But as long as they're pretty tight, I think you're good to go. All right, that mama's on there. Okay. All right. So good. We got those on there. Now let's put our pads in. Okay. Now we greased up. You see right where these ears go? And try not to touch the pads with your greasy hands. It's probably better to wear gloves to do this. See this little feeler thing, this little tab that sticks out goes in the back, okay? Goes that towards the inner fender well. All right, so I'm gonna change the camera angle a little bit. I'll be right back. And once again, let's get these pads in. Here's your little clips right here. These are gonna slide in this way, all right? And they're kind of tricky to get in there. Always helps if you put the right pad in there. That was the old one. Ah, all right. It's kind of hard to see. See, a little ear goes in there. Okay. That one in there. That one in there. There. Now it fits in the clips. See how they keep those clips, keep it snug in there. So we'll do the other side, which you guys can't see, I don't think. Well, it's the same concept. Okay, those are lubed up. Nice. That's my neighbor's dog. His name's Bob. Bob's a little dog. He doesn't eat much. Okay, there we go. Get those in there. Okay, bottom seated. There we go. Like you said, you want them right out to the edges. There. That wasn't that hard to do. Sometimes it's just hard to finagle. And these little, like I said, these little sharp ends need to be bent down. So anyways, there's the pads. Let's put the caliper back on. Let's unbungee it. There we go. And watch the orientation of your brake lines. Here, you want them the way they came. You don't want them all twisted up sideways or, you know, that kind of stuff. All right, so as you can see, that's all the way back because see how thick the pads are? So the piston has been retracted. So we can put on our little bolts now. See how nice that fits on there? Get our bolts on. Seat our caliper here. Hope I'm not in the way. There we go. See if I can move the camera a little bit for you guys. Bear with me. All right, that's a little better. Okay, so those are those. We'll tighten those up. Like I said, you can use a socket or a wrench. It's a 13 millimeters either way. And there's our 15 right here to hold that, just like we did earlier, remember? So a good torque. Same on the top. You can use a socket. My socket's laying around here somewhere. So there's not that much to thread here. So let's get those babies tightened up. All right, there's our calipers. Nice and tight. Well, my wrench is stuck in here. Just be careful when you do this. Okay, there you go. Sometimes that's a 15 millimeter. It's a little thick. So there's the tolerance in here in between these, you know, the rubber slider is in the seat of the bolt. All right. Okay, done. So what I like to do after that is hit the rotor with a little bit of brake cleaner, like so. Clean them up a little bit. And all the gunk that you had on your fingers when you put it on there. All right, so far so good. Rotor's on, brake pads are in. Well, that's about it. A couple of little things we need to do. Other than that, not too bad. You know, new pads and new rotors. Now, if you would have taken this to this dealership, you know, down to Wide Track Pontiac. Come on down to Wide Track Pontiac. Damn, we got some good deals in cars. And bring the kids. We have hot dogs and inflatable reptiles. Anyway, sorry about that. But they would have, oh gosh, they would have charged you a ton of money. This cost me about $300 for everything. The rotors and the pads. And actually I got another hub on the other side. You can't see it. I changed that out before. But the hub, which is this part that has the studs on it, I changed that out because after a while the bearings start to get loose. But anyways, that was another video. So what you want to do is let's pump the brake just real quick to seat those guys. We'll pump the brake a few times. Kind of seat those piston on those pads. And then what we'll do is, remember we took the fluid out of here? We'll put the fluid back in that we took out of the reservoir. Let's see here. All right. And if this stuff's really dirty, you know, you guys ought to just flush your system. I mean, they probably should do that. This stuff's been in there a long time. Now, see how it didn't take all the fluid? There's still like, what, 40 cc's of brake fluid in there. That's because over time, like I said, you fill it up because the, you know, the level goes down because the brakes get worn, and you keep putting it in there, and then when it's time to change the pads and you push those pistons all the way back out like we did with the C-clamp, you know, you've got all this extra fluid. So anyways, it's kind of cool. Well guys, I think that's gonna be it. Pretty much got her done. Looks good. Hope you enjoyed the video. It was kind of long and arduous, and I hope it helped. You know, this isn't that hard to do. Just take your time with it, and if you're just going to do the pads, it's super easy. Not the rotors, because you know, to take the rotors off, you have to take that bracket off of there. But if you just change the pads, you don't have to do that. Just pull the calipers off of those two little bolts, those 13s, and then change your pads. But that's about it. I'm going to clean up, and thanks for joining me. This is Chris with Outbound Terrain, and you guys have a good day.